Hello everybody. I am so happy for today. What about you? Are you happy? Nice to meet you. And I study English. And I think that English is fun. I am so glad you could join for my online English learning class. Today we are going to study a very special subject, weighing a famous chapter. We have chapter 3 for meeting 3. The topic is about introducing oneself. Competence indicators or skills. Okay. There are 4 goals for learning English. The students are expected to be able to 1. Give example for introducing oneself. The second goal for learning English. The students are expected to be able to identify items of greetings. And then the third competence indicators, the students are expected to be able to tell some expressions for introducing oneself. And then the fourth competence indicators, the students are expected to be able to practice English for introducing oneself orally. So, I repeat once more so that it's more clear. Before I explain the materials, firstly, I would like to explain to you, I would like to tell to you about the goals for learning English as the competence indicators or skills. What are they? There are 4 goals. The students are expected to be able to, number 1, give example for introducing oneself. Number 2, identify items of greeting. And then number 3, the students are expected to be able to tell some expressions for introducing oneself. And then the last goals, the students are expected to be able to practice English for introducing oneself orally. Well, point A, identifying of greeting. Okay, I would like to ask you first. When you meet people for the first time, what do you usually tell about yourself? Okay, once more. When you meet people for the first time, what do you usually tell about yourself? What do people want to know about? So what is the answer? Okay, I repeat once more. In identifying of greetings, my questions. When you meet people for the first time, what do you usually tell about yourself? It means that when you meet people for the first time, what do you usually tell about yourself? What do people want to know about? So the answer is your name is probably the first thing you will tell them. You may give your identity like name, occupation, address, hobby, etc. Okay, here are the ways of greeting. Dial 1. Mr. Carlos. Good morning, Mrs. Alice. How are you? Mrs. Alice said. Very well, thank you. How about you? Mr. Carlos said. Fine, thanks. Dial 2. Pete said. Hi, Beth. How are you doing? Beth said. Fine, thanks. And how are you, Pete? Pete said, not bad, thank you. Beth said, Are you going to the lab? Pete said, No, I'm going to the post office. Pat said, Oh, see you in the class. Bye-bye. Okay, we'll continue the next point. That's point B. Greetings and responses. Yeah. Okay, here are the examples. Okay. Greetings. Hi, how are you? Or how are you doing? The response is fine, not bad. Very well, thanks. Pretty good or great. I'm hanging in here. Okay, that's about greetings and responses. There is the words for greetings and there are some words for responses. Okay, what is the example, the words for greetings? Hi, how are you? Or hi, how are you doing? So these are the examples of the words greetings. And then the examples of expressions responses are fine, not bad, very well, thanks, pretty good, or great, I'm hanging in here. So this one are the examples of expressions responses. Okay, I think you all understand what I have explained to you. Okay, here are the ways to introduce oneself. Look at the conversation below. Dialogue 1. Jane said, Hello, my name is Jane. What is yours? Dito said, Ditto. Dialogue 2. Afika said, May I introduce myself? I'm Afika. Sayuri said, Pleased to meet you. My name is Sayuri. Okay, here are the ways to introduce oneself. Okay, the next. Here are the examples of giving personal information. Okay, there are two examples of giving personal information. Number one. The examples number one. My name is Jennifer Karim. My friends call me Jen. Originally, I am from Seattle, Washington. But now I live in Indonesia. My address is on Sudirman Street number 7. Okay. Second examples of giving personal information. Okay. Let me to introduce myself. Hi, my name is Salsabila. I am from Java. I graduate from Senior Vocational High School number 2 at Garuda Street. My hobby is reading. I live in Lubuk Linggau at Waterfront number 3. In the morning, I go to campus and in the afternoon, I usually watch television. Okay, these are the examples of giving personal information. Okay. C. Practicing intonation. Okay. Okay. Intonation is divided into two. There are rising intonation and falling intonation. Rising intonation means that the pitch of voice goes up. The pitch of voice goes up is called rising intonation. And falling intonation means the tone of the voice goes down. The tone of the voice goes down. It is called as falling intonation. Okay, before I give the example how to practice good intonation. Firstly, I would like to tell you about what is intonation. Intonation is the variations which happen in the pitch or tone of the voice when saying an utterance. Once more, I will repeat once more. Intonation is the variation which happen in the pitch or tone of the voice when saying an utterance. So the variation which happens in the pitch or the tone of the voice when saying an utterance, it is the intonation. The utterance consists of a word, a phrase, or a sentence. Okay, and then the intonation is divided into two. There are rising intonation and falling intonation. In a rising intonation, the pitch of the voice goes up. Once more, in rising intonation, the pitch of the voice goes up. Yeah. And in a falling intonation, the tone of the voice goes down. Once more, the difference between falling intonation and rising intonation are rising intonation, the pitch of the voice goes up, but in a falling intonation, the tone of the voice goes down. And then, for yes or no questions are usually spoken with a rising intonation. I will repeat once more. For yes or no questions are usually spoken with a rising intonation. But for WH questions and statements are generally spoken with a falling intonation. Okay, I will repeat once more. I hope that you can understand. Rising intonation, the pitch of the voice goes up. Falling intonation, the tone of the voice goes down. For yes or no questions, usually spoken with rising intonation. But for WH questions and statements are generally spoken with falling intonation. Yes or no questions normally begin with the auxiliaries or helping verbs such as am, is, are, do, does, did, have, has, and had. Okay, for example. Okay, for example, are you Jim? Okay. Okay, how do we practice this sentence with rising intonation or falling intonation? Which one? Are you Jim with falling or rising intonation? Which one? Okay, because the sentence is WH questions. Because the sentence is yes, no. I'm sorry. I will repeat once more. Because the sentence is yes or no questions. Because begin with auxiliary or helping verb as are. So it is spoken with rising intonation. Yeah. Okay. It is the first sentence is spoken with rising intonation because it is yes, no questions. Begin with auxiliaries are. So how do we practice these words? Are you Jim? Are you Jim? Once more. Are you Jim? Once more. Are you Jim? Okay. For the answer. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Okay. Okay, the second example. Are you fine? Okay, which one is correct? Rising intonation or with falling intonation? Which one? Yes, it is spoken by rising intonation because the sentence use yes, no questions begin with the auxiliary verbs are. So, how do we practice these words? Okay, I will give the example. To practice these words becomes, are you fine? Are you fine? The answer, yes, I'm. Yes, I'm. Okay. Okay. Next. Is she your friend? Okay. How do we use rising or falling intonation? Which are the two? Yes, we use for rising intonation because the sentence is yes, no questions. Begin with the auxiliary or helping verb is. So, how do we practice this intonation? Okay, I will give the example. Is she your friend? Is she your friend? Is she your friend? No, she is not. No, she is not. Okay. No, no, she is not is falling intonation. Why? Because this sentence is statement. Yeah. Because this sentence is statement, so generally spoken with a falling intonation. Okay. Did you get the difference yet between rising and falling intonation? Yeah. Is your friend used with rising intonation? No, she is not. We will use with falling intonation. Okay. Is she your friend? Use rising intonation because the sentence is yes, no questions. Begin with the auxiliary or helping verb is. And then no, she is not used falling intonation because it is statement. Statements are generally spoken with falling intonation. So how to practice with good intonation? Is she your friend? Is she your friend? No, she is not. It's also the same. Does she speak English? Use rising intonation. And no, she does not. Use falling intonation. Okay. For example, does she speak English? Does she speak English? Does she speak English? No, she does not. Does she speak English? No, she does not. Okay. And also, will you join with me? Use rising intonation, and I'm sorry, I will not use falling intonation. Yeah, because the word will you join with me use rising intonation. It is yes, no question. And then I'm sorry, I will not use falling intonation because it is statement. Okay, how do we practice it with good intonation? Okay, for example, will you join with me? Will you join with me? I'm sorry, I will not. I'm sorry, I will not. Okay. Yeah. Okay. The next speaking skill. Okay. In speaking skill, next English class online learning. Please you are ready with yourself to practice your English by making a video orally with good pronunciation. Number 1, identify items of greeting. Tell about identify items of greeting. Number 2, tell some expressions for introducing oneself. And then number 3, please practice your speaking for introducing yourself. It means that for English class online learning, please you are ready with yourself to practice your English by making a video orally with good pronunciation. That's about identify items of greeting. Please you tell about identify item of greetings, and then please you tell some expressions for introducing oneself, and then please you practice your speaking for introducing yourself by making a video orally. And please your task collect or send to via Google Classroom. Okay. Okay, and then reading skills. Okay. In reading skills, let us study together. Yeah. Okay. Read the dialogues above carefully and then answer the questions below. A. I don't plans we have made. I'm George. What is the answer? Yes. C. I don't think we have made. I'm George. B. I'm Jane. I'm glad to thank you. What is the answer? Yes. C. I am glad to see you. Okay, that's good. B. I am blah blah blah. I am planning to meet you too. What is the answer? Yes, glad. I'm glad to meet you too. Good. Okay, and then the last one. Plans. You a student. What is the answer? Yes, the auxiliary verbs that are. Are you a student? Are you a student? Yes, I'm. Okay. Okay, let us practice these dialogues by using rising intonation and falling intonations. Yeah, best it's spoken. Okay. A. Point A. What will we use? A rising intonation or falling intonation? Yes, we will use for falling intonation because it is statement. Yes. Okay. How to practice this sentence with good intonation? I don't think we have made. I'm George. Okay. It's also falling intonation. I'm Jane. It's also falling intonation. I'm glad to see you. I'm glad to meet you too. Okay. This one is used for rising intonation because it is yes, no question. So how do we practice this intonation by use good intonation? Are you a student? Are you a student? Are you a student? Yes, I am. Okay. Okay. I will repeat once more. I don't have we have made. I don't have I don't think we have made. I am George. I am Jane. I'm glad to see you. I am glad to see you too. Are you a student? Are you a student? Yes, I'm. Okay. Okay. The next, I would like to invite you practicing intonation for the word would you like to buy a hamburger? Okay. Okay. Who can give me the example to practice this sentence by using good intonation? For practicing intonation, the word would you like to buy a hamburger? Okay. Okay. You may repeat after me. Yeah. While you are watching my video, you may repeat for practicing intonation after me. Okay. We will try would, would, would. You like, like to buy a hamburger, hamburger. Okay. Would you like to buy a hamburger? Would you like to buy a hamburger? Okay, you may repeat after me. Would you like to buy a hamburger? 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 Okay. Would you like to buy a hamburger? With more louder. More quickly, more louder and more quickly. Would you like to buy a hamburger? Would you like to buy a hamburger? Would you like to buy a hamburger? Okay. Okay. Yeah. I think that's enough. Please, you are ready with yourself to practice your intonation by doing voice recording with your good pronunciation and good intonation. Then send your project to via Google Classroom. Thank you. Don't forget for your project, please, you are ready with yourself to practice your good intonation, to practice your intonation by doing voice recording with your good pronunciation and good intonation. Then send your project to via Google Classroom. Thank you. That's enough for today. See you next time. See you next week. Bye.